So Faith for Justice Asheville is a collective of both clergy and lay leaders who are living out their faith by provoking justice for and with Black and brown-bodied people.
I joined to be a part of listening, learning, and reflecting, and I continue to give monthly to this ministry because it is an invaluable part of my life and my journey. It helps me learn how to embody both the brokenness we experience through injustice, as well as embodying the healing that can come when we listen, name, learn, and hold ourselves accountable and hold our community accountable.
The work that Tami does through Faith for Justice is so critical. I was able to watch her expertly facilitate very hard conversations on race and have people think through not just what it meant, what systemic racism looked like intellectually, but what it looked like in the church, and in particular, their church.
Clergy and lay leaders gather together and build their capacity of learning how to divest from white supremacy culture, both in themselves and in their faith institutions.
I have seen the transformational experience, the transformational impact of that work within a church community, but also within our larger community of Asheville as a whole. Faith leaders carry so much weight in our community, both socially, but also politically.
So I've been around pretty much since the very beginning of this movement, of this collective that is called Faith for Justice. And Reverend Tami Forte Logan has been a resource, a colleague, a friend, a sister in Christ.
And so we spend a lot of time exploring history and looking at contemporary examples and listening to contemporary voices to help us better understand how white supremacy is operating in our communities of faith.
My monthly practice with Faith for Justice gives me a greater capacity to not shy away from the prophet's call to do justice, to love kindness, and most importantly, to walk humbly together.
White people reveal things in conversations about race that they've never revealed before, either to others or didn't even know themselves.
So the second part of our work is taking what we learn from our community of practice and applying it to real life by getting behind Black and brown-bodied leaders and centering their voices and their experiences and supporting their strategies. And so mobilizing in different ways to support movement for racial justice.
So we went from, kind of growing together into what ministry looks like here in Asheville-Buncombe County for Grace Covenant, for Faith for Justice, to now in 2022, Faith for Justice is a fiscal sponsoree of Grace Covenant. And Reverend Tami Forte Logan is a part of our community.
There's an old phrase from the 18th century, and it's the phrase ecclesiolae and ecclesia, and it means little churches within the bigger church, if you will. I believe Faith for Justice is actually the bigger C church, and we are simply one of the little churches. And we all get to work together through our denominations, but ultimately, here in this community, come together under the big C church of Faith for Justice.
Her leadership, her guidance, her wisdom has just been deeply formative for me and for this church. And the wonderful thing about Faith for Justice and Reverend Tami Forte Logan is that this work is collective, and that's the way Tami works. She's collaborative. She calls us into circles of discernment.
And then the third way that you can engage in Faith for Justice, for those of you who want to take a deeper dive, is to do one-to-one coaching with your leadership and Faith for Justice folks, or to go much deeper in your congregation in doing processes that are facilitated, that include training, also includes assessments.
Tami and the work of Faith for Justice has really helped me lean back into a community that I deeply love, and I've been excited and amazed to watch the impact of Faith for Justice and doing the same for other Black people in our community.
With the idea of transforming your congregation to be a congregation that is rooted in equity.
She calls us into deep inner work and also to advocacy, to move out when invited into the community, to places where we can be in solidarity and we can be in places of advocacy, where we can provoke justice in the city council and other things going on in this community.
And to understand that Christianity that we practice today, that was really co-opted by Roman Empire and by Eurocentric interpretation.
But also how we can go inward and really do the spiritual work of unearthing and disentangling ourselves from white supremacy.
We need to divorce ourselves from that and go back to the way of following Jesus the Christ.
I see Tami and I see Faith for Justice change lives, and it's changed my life too.